Well, without a doubt, one of my favorite albums of the year is called Stung, and it's by one of my favorite bands in the entire universe, Pond, who I'm so stoked to have join us. At least a few of the guys. Welcome back to San Francisco. Good to see you, Jay and Nick.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Pleasure to be here.
And we have Joe, who I am meeting for the first time.
Hi.
How are you?
Good to meet you. Yeah, great.
Well, Joe, welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate the time to chat.
And I was get out from under the bus. We don't even have a bus. It's more of a van. You're under a van somewhere.
Back in
throwing up.
Back in the old days.
Yeah. It's still a van. It's still a van. Well, we don't share beds. We share rooms. Now we have our own room every 3 days. We have some sort of rotation, very refined and sometimes controversial rotation system.
Oh, what does that involve?
To ensure maximum fairness. Kind of just remembering who had it last.
Oh, I thought it was going to be some type of Rochambeau or
fight to the death.
Yeah, something maybe a little bit more TikTok-y.
No, but when you're on tour, it's surprisingly hard to remember who who did what yesterday and in what room and in what city. So Joe has a spreadsheet looking thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Oh, he's the one that keeps everything in order.
Well, he tries to, yeah.
Just don't email me because I'll never reply. But I can tell you who had their own room.
Who had their own room 2 days ago, yeah.
Well, then who has their own room here in San Francisco?
We all do here because we are staying in Berkeley where it's cheaper. So we all got our own. It's a bit of a treat. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, Joe, good to meet you finally after all these years, especially album number 10 that you've been involved in now, right? Since the very start.
Absolutely, yeah. It's been a long, strange trip.
What's your perspective on the growth of the band and how things have evolved and how Nick and Jay have been, kind of pushing and prodding and...
I let them live, yes. It's good. We're a big team, big teamwork kind of band. We try and keep, it friendly, and it seems to be working for us so far. And I'm really, really excited about future projects, future albums and stuff.
Future albums?
Future albums.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nick, when he says that you guys get along and so forth, I'm sure there has to be some conversation, some discussion during recordings and writing and things like that. What was the most challenging part of this latest album, which is just so fantastic?
Man, honestly, not much. I think, for me, it was really, really civil, and like we managed to, take advice and criticism without a blink of the eye. Like, it's not a thing. It was probably got difficult for you with the mixing because Gum and Jin mixed the album, and I'm sure that was more of a laborious kind of affair. But like for the rest of us, just like writing and jamming and stuff was really fun and easy. Yeah. It's a pleasure.
The making music's the easy part of being in a band, I think. Like you were saying before, like getting on with everyone else for a long time, and like the business stuff, and the way that you like present the music you've made is the stuff that takes time and is stressful, and there's arguments and stuff. Like the making music part of it is really easy and like fun for us.
Yeah, like and the arguments are never kind of nasty or anything. It can just be really tiring when you're sort of trying to get a consensus on like what shade of cream goes on the like middle sticker of a record or something. It's just like
the thing is,
like, we've already done it. We've done the fucking album. Like, come on.
Right. The thing is about the music part is it's exactly like how you wanted it, because you wouldn't like nobody. Yeah, you don't have to make music. So we only put it out once we're it's like 100% what we like most of the time. But then all the other stuff that comes with like playing music is you're compromising. You're always compromising with, not in a bad way, just it's not 100% like what you would do a lot of the time. I think that's what what you have to like push through. That start of it more. The music is just, we've got that for days, I think. It's good.
I mean, people always say that being in a band is like being in a marriage,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
right? And you're going to have those conflicts, you're going to have agreements, and compromise is the number one way to continue and forge ahead.
Yeah.
But I suppose at a certain point of a lot of marriages, you just kind of, you've done all that so much that you're just kind of in this perpetual understanding where you might get a little bit grumpy. You might be in a really good place, but generally you're just coasting along. Like, I think that's sort of where we are with like relations and stuff.
Especially as you get older, right?
I get annoyed doing music as a job. I very rarely get angry, or even grumpy. Irritated is like a sort of is like a daily occurrence, but it's not, and not with these guys. I just mean in the like industry as a whole,
Yeah.
Sometimes I try rile them up. I know.
Yeah,
I know
you know how to push my buttons. Yeah.
Just for fun.
Edge of the World Part 1, 2, and now 3 has totally evolved and changed, it seems, with every recording. Now, I could be wrong. You could have a 30-minute recording that you're just cutting up and drip feeding us.
Well, that was the only one. Oh, I made a couple of bits that was like, orchestral and jazzy, like what the whole thing was going to be like, maybe. And then it made sense to just have that as that because it's so long anyway. Everything else around it was like really different.
So when approaching that particular song, and now we have 3 parts to it, does it start where 2 left off, recording, writing-wise? Or is it you went away and then you come up with an idea and let's make this part 3? Like, how does
6 years later or something, I guess. Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. It was like Gum wrote a big suite of music.
It just sounded like a cousin of the other suite of music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's sort of joking, and then you're like, well, we may as well.
Yeah. Like it's so overblown. The idea, the kind of proggy, like it's like Emerson, Lake and Palmer or something, which is really like we love a lot of that music, but we're very, very aware of how stupid it is.
It's not stupid.
Well, it's silly as hell, having like 3-part like epics.
It's its own little rock opera.
Yeah. But we love that stuff and we revere it, but we're also like very aware of its comedy value.
How do you prevent something like that from being self-indulgent?
I think it's all like it all seems silly to me. Like those prog bands seem silly, but then sort of the Ramones or whoever seems silly too. If you like, they're like. It's pretty amusing. So it's just one strand of the like cartoonness of like music. You know what I mean? And then it's so much. About half the stuff we do starts earnestly, but about half of it starts as something kind of amusing, and then it becomes earnest and emotional like after. The amusing beginning, you know what I mean?
When you say amusing, is it just you guys riffing in a garage?
Yeah, well, it might be something. It might be something that is funny or is reminds us of something. Like it reminds us of something. It's not derivative of something, but it reminds us of something that might be coming from a funny place, like musically, that we think like, oh, how funny is this? We would never do that, and then we do, and then it becomes less pastiche as we work on it. Do you know what I mean? But the initial inspiration might be, this sounds like it's a montage music from the movie Backdraft, or whatever, you know what I mean? This sounds like a Point Break scene. And then from there, or whatever it is, this sounds like 80s Red Hot Chili Peppers. And then by the time it's done, it doesn't, but that's the jumping off point.
I'm not kidding. It could be its own little rock opera. Do you think in visions like this because you're referencing these type of movies and?
Just everything's in there, and also at the same time it's we're not thinking. Yeah, I don't know what the answer to that is.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that is a hard one.
It's just we're just entertaining ourselves really, and then you hope that it comes out as sincere and like moving at the end, even if it even if it has come from a silly place initially.
Speaking of silly, how does comedy play a role in your music?
Oh, I think it really, I think it plays a big part in keeping us sane and keeping it appealing for everyone. Like, it takes like it takes the heaviness and self-indulgence out of a lot of things. It makes it feel more communal when there's bits that we can all laugh at. Like for a few songs on Stung, changed the lyrics from the earnest beginnings to the fucking ridiculous thing that someone misheard it as. You know, like saying these tummy tablets got me breaking in two. Like it wasn't that, but it was just funny to change it. So it's like, stuff it. We've got room to wiggle.
It's just so awesome to see you guys create such music that is interesting and fresh, but still, again, that pond sound.
Oh, sure, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that's been a number of years. Where do you see this going? I know you didn't envision this lasting this long.
I kind of want to do something really like fast and high energy before we get too old and can't be bothered. Do you know what I mean? And we actually, because live there is a lot more energy than like any of the albums we've made. So it'd be nice to try and like bottle that for once. Do you know what I mean? Rather than the other way around.
Yeah, and we'll do that, and then I don't know, keep going until we run out of juice.
Which I don't see happening anytime
nice
soon.
Nice to do Joe's country album one day. More
Joe's country album?
Song. Yeah, he writes a good country song.
Really?
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Irish country, Irish Australian country.
How come that didn't seep into this album?
Oh, it's made its way onto a couple.
There's a teeny bit in there, yeah. There's been more before. There's no country, but there's
new horizons. You know, try.
There's little flavors of Joe, you know, like a LaCroix country, you know.
LaCroix country.
Like country flavored.
Just
LaCroix.
a little hint of berry.
Yeah, that's right.
Loose.
Irish country. It's like a LaCroix, Guinness LaCroix. How repulsive is that?
I've never heard of Irish country though. That's really interesting to me. What's Irish country?
I'm not sure.
I just said that because he's Irish.
Yeah.
But I guess that it is just folk music, isn't it? Traditional Irish folk.
Yeah.
And then we've done a bit. That's seeped its way in before.
Yeah. It's just like an Irish guy who's been listening to like the band consistently for a week and then writes a song. Yeah. Probably.
I think Edge of the World Part 4
that's right.
will be somewhat tinged with a LaCroix Irish country, right?
Dueling banjos and tin whistles.
Really appreciate the time, man.
No worries. Thank you.
Pleasure.
The album is just, again, fantastic. Congrats on that, and great to catch up with you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pete.
Thanks for having us.
It's the guys of Pond right here on B-Sides.